Hey there, how's it going everybody? Today I'll be sharing with you how I go about pruning my fig trees to keep the canopy at a nice low manageable level, making for an easy harvest. So I've actually gone ahead and planted two different varieties of figs in the same plot here. I've got a blackjack fig and a brown turkey fig. And as you can see, we got it at a nice low height here at about 6 feet. We got plenty of side growth coming off of all these main branches, which is where most of the fruit's going to be growing. So the best time to prune your fig trees is during dormant season. We're now in the second week of January here in Northern California. As you can see, the tree has lost all of its leaves. This is the perfect time to go ahead and prune this tree back. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out some of this inward growth. I really want to open up the center of this tree, allowing the sun to fully penetrate even once the tree starts to reemerge and the foliage starts to come out. For this task, I have three different tools I'll be using here. I've got a simple pair of pruners, and this is my least favorite tool for the job. I've also got a couple hand saws. So the Wicked handsaw here has longer, very sharp teeth. This is better for removing larger branches and trunks. And this handsaw here is known as a pocket boy. It's made by Silky. And as you can see, it has much smaller teeth. This is better for the smaller branches. Now I prefer to work from the bottom up when I'm pruning my fig trees. And in some cases, you may want to remove some of these shoots that have now become branches here. As you can see here, this is the first branch I'm going to be removing. And it's growing straight inward into the center of this tree. So we're just going to quickly remove that. As you can see, it leaves a nice, really clean cut, and this here can be put into a pot of soil and grow a whole new fig tree. So I'm going to continue to prune the tree on the right here. As you can see, we got another branch growing right into the center here, so I'm just going to quickly remove that. And here's another branch growing right into the center. I'll take that out. So as I go about pruning these side branches, I'm trying to get as close as I can with these cuts to the main trunk of the tree here. Alright, now this tree on the right here is looking pretty good as far as removing that inward growth goes. Now I'm just going to take down the top a bit here. I'm going to bring this tree down probably to about 4.5 feet or so. In my experience, this brown turkey fig puts on about 2 to 3 feet of upward growth each year. So bringing it down to 4.5 feet, I may end up with a tree at about 7.5 feet by the end of the year. So that's right where I want it. So while taking down the top, what I'm doing is I'm paying attention to these nodes. As you go down the branch here, you can see there's plenty of nodes every couple inches or so. So I prefer to have any new growth that reemerges from this branch to shoot off in this direction. So scanning down the branch here, I can see right at the mark where I want to cut, there's a node here which is going to push out growth this direction. So that's where I'll go ahead and make my cut here. Now if you notice, I went ahead and made that cut at a 45-degree angle. That's so that if it rains, it doesn't pool up on the top of the branch, which can cause rotting. I'm also going to bring this branch down just a wee bit. And again, I'd like growth coming out this way, so I can see there's a node there. That'll be a good spot. Now this is also the time I want to remove any damaged or problematic limbs. Like here, you can see we've got a little bit of rot on the tip here, so I'll remove that. In fact, I'm going to end up removing this entire stalk coming up. Now one way to do it would be to just make a cut here, but first I'm going to try to just yank this out. If I can, there's going to be some root on there, which is going to make it really easy to propagate. Alright, well that took a little bit of muscle, but I was able to pull it out. As you can see, we got plenty of roots here. This will be really easy to grow. You can just stick this in the ground wherever you want, or grab yourself a pot with some potting mix, and this will grow a new tree right away. Try that again with this branch here. Hey there, Mr. Worm. Alright, I say we're looking pretty good here now. As you can see, we got a nice open center. We brought the tree down to a nice manageable height. We got plenty of side branches here that are going to produce some nice figs for us this upcoming year. So now on to the Peter's Honey fig. Now this Peter's Fig Honey is a much faster grower. It has a tendency to shoot up quite a bit and grow very tall if you don't aggressively prune it back. In-ground fig trees can grow anywhere between 10 and 30 feet tall, so if you don't want a big shade tree in your yard and you want something easy to harvest, you're going to want to prune back most of these. There is one variety, however, it's called Violette de Bordeaux. I've actually got a seedling I'm growing indoors right now that I'm going to transplant out here, and that tops out at about 8 feet. Now currently I've got 4 different varieties of fig growing back here, and this Peter's Fig Honey so far has been my favorite fig. It's delicious tasting, it's a prolific grower. We got a nice heavy fruit set off of this previous year, so I'm looking forward to that once again. So the process of pruning is the same with the brown turkey and the blackjack fig. I'm just going to be more aggressive with it. Now in some cases while you're forming your structure here, you may want to go ahead and stake up some of the branches as they get going. Once they're well established like this here, you can go ahead and remove that. Just an old hose with some sort of tie. This is an old extension cord, works great for staking up trees. Alright, so next up we got this towering white blanket fig. This is about 15 feet tall or so. I'm going to bring this guy way down. And there it is. We're looking good now. Got it pruned down to about 6 feet or so. This will jump up once again to about 12 to 15 feet again next year. As you can see, I've got a whole slew of cuttings here now. These are just the branches that I pruned off that last fig tree. And the way to propagate this plant is you can either grow from the tip or anywhere on the branch, as long as you've got a few nodes that are growing here like this. So as you can see, we could propagate a whole forest out of just one tree's cuttings for the year. Now I'm just going to quickly share with you how it is I'm going to go about propagating these. Now because I've got so many cuttings, I'm going to divide these into about foot-long sections, and you could go as little as 4 or 5 inches on these. But I'm just going to go down right above the node where I want to make my cut, and I'm going to cut it at a diagonal angle using my sharp silky handsaw. Then just using a 1-gallon container with some good potting mix in there, I'm just going to push the cutting down a few inches, pack it in there nice. And the cutting really likes a humid environment until it gets going. So I'm just going to use this clear plastic bag. You could use a plastic container, whatever you got on hand. Now even if you forego the humidity dome, you should still have relatively good success. Now you can put this in your greenhouse, in your grow room, or if you're not in freezing temperatures, just leave this outside in some dappled sun and you're good to go. Well, I got plenty more cuttings to propagate now, so I better get to it. So with that, I hope this video finds you and finds you well, out in the world and out in your garden, planting more abundance in your life. Take care everybody, I'll be talking to you again soon.